I have with me the industry veterans, beautiful speakers today, and a lovely, inspiring moderator. Please join me in welcoming Brian Carvalho. He is a communication and a content expert with more than 2 decades of global experience spanning the public relations, marketing, communication, and even domains in the healthcare and mental health, technology, government, and exhibitions, also the conference sectors. He has worked with some of the India's most respected business leaders, innovative leaders, and influencers who have crafted the communication strategy and implemented programs across. Well, his new program with the organization as diverse as the Live, Love, Laugh Foundation, Hunger Box, Portia Medicals, Symphony Ventures, GrowFit, and 8i Ventures. Ladies and gentlemen, these are some of his stints which he was in, and his experience also includes a decade of work in Abu Dhabi, UAE, from the year early to 2000s, working with the region's leading PR firm, Asta Burson Marstella, and later handling the marketing for Abu Dhabi National Exhibition Center. He is also the co-founder of PRUNE, a knowledge-sharing platform for PR and communication professionals in Bangalore. He has an MS degree in communication from Bangalore University. Apart from his work, he's a passionate long-distance running individual. He loves to spend time with his family. He loves music and he loves community work. Welcome, Mr. Brian Carvalho.
Thank you, Deepika. Thanks a lot for your kind words.
I also have with me interesting panelists with me, ladies and gentlemen. I take the honor and privilege to introduce with you the industry professional, Dipesh Seth. He is Director, Marcom Solutions Private Limited. Institution professional, I have Vipul Solanki, Director at National Academy of Event Management and Development. Youth professional, I have Chaudhry Pranav Nanda Das, Senior Communication Specialist at AECOM. And the youth student, I have with me Tejas EK from Jain University Center for Management Studies. Over to you, Mr. Brian.
Thanks so much, Deepika. Welcome everyone who's tuned in, and welcome, of course, to the exceptional set of panelists that we have. Thank you all for joining us, and look forward to an hour of interesting dialogue and exchange of information. So PR and event management, clearly, it's a dynamic industry that has been growing by leaps and bounds over the last few years, attracting more professionals, attracting more funding, attracting more attention, attracting media headlines. All of that has been great. It's clearly a career of choice for a number of young individuals, like Tejas and others like him. I'd like to invite the panelists to really talk a little bit about, starting with Dipesh and then Chaudhry and Vipul and then of course Tejas, talk a little bit about what attracted you to this sector, what were your first steps like, and what your career journey has been. If I can invite you to share those.
Sure, Brian.
Thank you.
Sure, Brian. Thank you so very much. First of all, I would like to extend my, thanks to the entire organizing team, for putting such a extraordinary effort, to organize such kind of a Youth Connect program. In fact, if we are talking about the event industry, I mean, what you rightly said, we are at, among the top chart of, top chart buster as far as the wash affected industry in 2020. Because, I mean, our work starts with, gathering of people, and unfortunately, government doesn't allow people to gather at this point of a time. And I don't know till what time this will go further. But I can consider this is a part of a product life cycle, because for every industry, eventually when you see, there is an ups and downs. And when we are looking at this particular scenario, I consider this more relevant to, it happens to any of the industry, almost all the industry, the ups and downs will come. The best part is it's nothing wrong with the industry or a future, but it's only what I consider is, an external factor which is affecting the industry. So I'm sure that, with the maybe vaccine coming up, or maybe in future, maybe it might take maybe another 3 months or 6 months, but, the industry will be certainly in a proper shape. if you are talking about the history of the event industry, it is as old as far as probably the first letter written in the history. Because right from the sultans or the kings, almost everyone was extremely using the events to get connected with the people. Industry at this point of a time is almost 10,000 crore mark as far in India is concerned, which is with the growth of almost 16%, which is something much, much higher than any other industry, almost any other industry. Even media and entertainment industry is growing with the speed of, almost 11 to 13%. But event is actually growing at a very rapid speed. And once again, this doesn't, a large portion of this industry is an unorganized sector. So if you see eventually, I mean, there are certain unofficial reports which indicates that almost 50% of event business is, from the unorganized sector. So even though also, I mean, this is the speed at what, the industry is growing. As far as I was just referring the report of KPMG of 2017. There are so many businesses which are, specifically when we are talking about event, it has got various category of events like, corporate event, live events, IP, that is an intellectual property, below the line activities, experiential marketing, government initiated events, special events, social events. There are a large number of, I mean, different kind of categories. Out of all, I mean, one of the categories which has significantly came up, which is the wedding industry. In last 5 to 6 years, wedding industry has grown up to almost 40 to 50 billion US dollar in India, which is the second largest, in the world. USA is considered to be one of the highest, biggest industry with almost $70 billion. So, I mean, what I can sense is it's, a time being factor, let's say COVID or a pandemic is, a time being factor, and the industry, there is nothing wrong with the industry, and it will come out, very well. If I look forward for my journey, I started this almost 20 years back. I was working with an ad agency. From there, I got an opportunity. And actually, I'm from the engineering background, and right from beginning, my keen interest was in the field of advertising and communication. And then somehow in late 90s, I got an opportunity to work with one of the leading ad agency, and then converted my career and started my organization by the name of Marcom in 2001. And we have completed almost 20 years now. And we have, I mean, at that point of a time, it was so really difficult to explain people what business I am into. Because 20 years back, people were not able to understand, I mean, they were unable to understand what Marcom is all about, what is experiential marketing or events. But fortunately, with the changes which have been implemented in India, now it just become a buzzword. I personally feel for students, it is something which is, I mean, there are lots of students. I mean, first of all, I'm so thankful to NEEMD, that is the first institute of India, because when we started our organization, it was so difficult to get, good employees or a trained employees or students, because there were no such institute which was, teaching about event management. So NEMD is the first institute who took the initiative and created, history as far as event industry in India is concerned. For students, what I personally feel, because I am also from the engineering background, so I mean, there is nothing specific skill set required except for the innovation and, development of skill set for ideation.
Sorry to interrupt, Dipesh. We'll come up to the requirements themselves, but thank you for taking the time. I think I just want to summarize. I just want to summarize some of the key things you mentioned. I think you said that clearly things are going very well. It's a 10,000 crore industry growing exponentially. Organized sector, of course, is significant, but there's a significant unorganized sector as well. You talked about the wedding industry being a segment that has provided a huge fill up to the industry. And of course, you said that, the current situation, you tend to hope, view it from a positive lens or optimistic lens, and just saying that this is a disruption in the entire product cycle, and it's important that we move forward, right? And you also talked about, of course,
That's true.
MEMP. Yeah, so that's great. Thank you. So why don't we talk?
Thank you so very much.
We'll come back to you. We'll talk to Chaudhary and understand from you, Chaudhary, about your own career journey. When you entered the industry, what are some of the roles that you have fulfilled? You're on mute, Chaudhary. You'll need to unmute.
You're still on mute, sir.
Yeah. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
So, hi everyone. I'm very much glad being a part of this YCC 2020. So I started my career with POSCO India as a public relations officer, and that was my first job in public relations. So before that, after my master's in journalism and mass communication, I started my career with an English daily newspaper. So after this English daily, that time POSCO India, POSCO was the largest FDI. They invested for a steel plant to establish a steel plant in my district. Jagatsinghpur is a coastal district of Odisha, eastern part of India. So that time I was working with Pioneer in New Delhi in the National Bureau. So I returned back to Odisha and joined that team there in their corporate communication team as a public relations officer. So that was my first journey. My PR communication journey started from there. So as I said since beginning, I have been like an extrovert person. So I love to communicate. I love to make relationships with persons. It's my strength. Which any person I come across in life, in my day-to-day life, I develop the ability to motivate and influence those people through my verbal and or if required, it is writing skills. So communication is one set of strength of my personality since beginning, since childhood. So I thought this profession will be better for me, because I know PR is it is nothing more. It is relationship building and communicate effectively. It stands for PR. It is all about, according to me, that to communicate effectively, and it is all about relationship. So as I said, I started my career with POSCO India. Before that, I completed my post-graduation diploma in electronic journalism from Cygnus Institute of Mass Communication. That was an institute run by Mithun Chakraborty, famous film personality. So after the electronic journalism post-graduation diploma, I completed my master's in journalism and mass communication from Utpal University, Odisha, Bhubaneswar, Odisha. So then my MBA with specialization in human resource management from Pondicherry Central University. So I have long 60 years of working experience in diversified setups like media, NGOs, consultancies, corporate houses. I have opportunity to get associated with some of the major companies like POSCO, Indian Metals and Ferroalloys Limited. Indian Metals is the largest ferroalloys producer in the world. Grey Matter Communication, it is one of the leading communication consultancy in India. And now AECOM is the one of the largest engineering consultancy in the world. We are working across the globe, more than 100 countries we have presence. So as an accomplished and enthusiastic communication professional throughout my career, with expertise in media, media relation management, public relation, public outreach activities, education and handling of social media and website, marketing, social research activities, analytics, development. I have contributed
Maybe
significantly.
sorry to interrupt, Chaudhary. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
for taking us through your career journey. If you can very quickly in the next minute or so talk a little bit about ACOM. What does ACOM do? Because I want the audience to understand the kinds of opportunities,
Yeah,
the kinds of.
ACOM it stands for American Engineering Company. It is
Okay.
the largest engineering consultancy in the states, United States of America, and it is one of the largest engineering consultancy in the world. So it is a global Fortune 500 company. It
Sure.
ranks 67. So we are working across the globe, more than 100 countries we have presence, and 1.5 lakh employees we have. So in India, almost in every state we have project, and major projects. If you will see, we are engineering consultants for Namami Gange project. It is the most sought after initiative of Modi government, and also we have different metro smart city projects and metro rail projects also in India. So basically, we are an engineering consultancy, one of the largest engineering consultancy in the world.
Great. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. I think that was very interesting. And just a note here for the audience, gives you a sense of the kind of diversity of opportunities that are out there if you look at Chaudhary's own career journey. Vipul, I just want to bring you in here. If you can again talk us through, education and training has clearly been a passion for you. So if you can take us through your, career journey and a little bit about what NEMD does.
Certainly. Good morning, Brian, Deepika,
Good morning.
Dipesh, Chaudhary, Tejas, the entire team behind this wonderful initiative YCC.
Morning,
Thanks
sir.
good morning. Thanks for making me part of this conversation. I'll certainly try my best to share as much as possible and experience to all the wonderful audience that we have today. So it began like how every individual would start his or her journey 20 years back, more than that, 98 when we started, struggling to figure out post graduation where to head, exploring multiple opportunities into finance and marketing, media, and all those things, but not very clear where to head.
Yeah.
In those times, there were limited opportunities, limited information, less of internet connectivity, or hardly any. In today's time, the things are very different. But those days, like, it was more of somebody recommends that you do this and we do that. So we explored multiple things. In that process, we came across, organizing one of the event in those days. Me, my partner, Mr. Balkishan Sharma, Mr. Pravin Joshi, came together and organized an event. And that's where we figured out that we were not able to find good resource. And we were into educating students for commerce classes and small all initiatives in those years, home tuitions and all. So we were into education, and this industry we came across. We thought that why not we begin our journey with this industry and bring in our educational services in this space. It took 2 long years to figure out what we should do and how we should do. We came up with some small program, diploma in event management, part-time program, and then gradually the journey began. We started interacting with good industry people and people like Mr. Dipesh in the industry. They started, assisting us, collaborating with us, and then it started building up. We came across multiple avenues. We started adding more subjects on the board. And since this event management is such a beautiful subject that it forms as a nucleus to so many industry, it has a high degree of interrelationship with so many other verticals, be it marketing, media, advertising, promotions, front end, so technology. So I mean, it was a whole huge gamut that we came across, and slowly, gradually, we started looking at the other industries also, which were ancillary. So we ventured into sports industry, we then ventured into media, and then few more verticals, travel and tourism, health and nutrition as well, and then multiple such sectors. We started modeling and grooming. So the journey began with event management and then progressed into few more verticals. The only objective, the primary objective that we had in mind was to focus on the unconventional career options and bring them into the mainstream. That's the objective and the philosophy that we have been striving to bring some difference in the industry, having centers at multiple places in India and Dubai now. So trying to give our best to the students as well as the industry.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Vipul. Tejas, I want to bring you in here. Can you tell us a little bit about your background, where you've schooled? Obviously, we know where you're gone to college, but some of the reasons why PR and events is something that has attracted you. That would be interesting.
Okay. Yeah, first of all, good morning to one and all. And thanks to YCC. It's a great honor for me, someone like a student, to have a great platform about the people and the campaigns I've learned about in my textbook, sharing a screen with them. Thanks for that. So, in one reason, if I tell what attracted me to even before PR and event management into the whole course of mass communication, then it would be the movie Ye Jawani Hai Diwani, like in one word. Because I was someone, I was someone who was a science student, practice working and studying for entrance examination, and that's one day I came across this movie, and seeing how the whole lifestyle and how the whole structure of that character Kabir works, that interested me towards this course. So I read upon it, and even then there were very less information out there, and there were very less colleges offering this course. And that's how I ended up in Jain University. And for me, the prior motive was journalism or travel journalism in specific. But as I move forward, as I move forward, then I came across public relations. It was just another elective among plenty. But when I studied about it, how the whole process of PR works, and how there is an effective need of communication, how the art of influencing, and that's what attracted me towards this. So, and when I came to my final year, then I took a specialization in event management as well as public relations. So talking about event management in specific, what attracted me towards event management, I think people who are in who have been studying in Bangalore, like who have done their college or graduation in Bangalore, they would know Bangalore especially is known for its festing culture. Like especially colleges come together. There are a lot of opportunities, and unlike schooling, for example, I did my schooling in Kerala in MES International School Patambi. So unlike our school days in Bangalore, it's more organized by the students. Like it's students who take care of the fest, like from booking up to the celebrity artists to organizing everything. The back end works, everything are done by students. And me being a part of the fest organized by my college, and me attending the fest organized by other colleges, that's what interested me in event management, like from putting it on paper to building up a stage to organizing concerts. I think to the youth, to the students watching out this also, I think it's that fun of organizing, and fun of organizing that would interest a lot of people to come in here. And obviously a lot of youth out there, like we want to get out of that culture from a one table one desk one room job, and more to go out, like to travel, to get the exposure, and what to say, a profession where it's more happening. And I feel that is one of the main reasons what attracted me towards PR and event management. So I'm talking about my career journey. In these 3 years, I've done around a few internships. As one was as campus ambassador for Oyo Rooms, and then as digital marketing and content creator for Xerxes Infotech, which is a Delhi-based company. Then for a digital media company called Pro Caffeination as content creator. So yeah, that's pretty much about it.
Great, thank you. That was very interesting. So I want to I think what you talked about was, sorry, Chaudhary, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. So Tejas, I have a question for you.
Yeah, sir.
Can you do they give public relation advertisement course or journalism?
So the course we have is mass communication as a whole. And in mass communication, we cover a lot of aspects. Like one side is the journalism
So it
side,
is under JNU. It is under JNU or Indian Institute of Mass Communication that is in JNU campus.
It's Jain University.
It's Jain University.
Jain University.
Oh, Jain University.
Yeah.
Okay, Jain University.
Yeah,
okay, sorry. I thought JNU. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
No
I think
issues,
what,
no issues.
yeah, that's, I think it's a good thing you clarified it. But it's a good segue to the next part of the discussion, and I think this is important also for many who are logged in. Is what are the skills that are required? What is events and PR about? And what, more importantly, is it not? Right. So Tejas, you talked about, I think, the glamorous side of being involved in events, and you talked about youth not perhaps being more open to just getting out and doing stuff and things like that. So I want to draw in veterans such as Deepesh and Vipul and of course Chaudhary here to talk a little bit about what are some of the things that our audience needs to know, gentlemen. Importantly, in terms of salary levels, in terms of perhaps the underbelly of the industry that people also need to be exposed to. So if you want to start, Vipul, that will be really good.
Certainly, rather than be looking at what are the skills needed, I think it would be good to look at what is not needed for an event manager. That will be a small list.
Yeah.
I think event managers are many a times being referred to as supermans as well. We see a lot of names and a lot of definitions.
And
we
super
see
women,
and
super
since
women
the
and
nature
supermen.
of women as well, yes.
Yeah.
So it's like as I said earlier, that it is at the nucleus. It is having such a high, deep interrelationship with so many functional areas that event manager cannot be cannot go away with not focusing on some of the functional areas, like be it front end or a back end, be it all the functional areas: marketing, advertising, finance, technology, operations. All the functional areas are the areas which an event manager is expected to know. And over the years, since the size and scale of the event has been increasing, the client has been paying good amount of money for the services that an event manager is providing, and hence the expectation of the client has also built up. So the event manager has to come up with some strong, solid, conceptually and from the implementation perspective, has to come up with a strong delivery. And hence the expectation on the skills that is needed, I think it is a endless list there. So
Sure.
that's a tough.
So
Tejas has said that he many a time students see the glamour side of it, as you rightly portrayed, but when they go on the backstage, then the agony and the pain begins. Then they make the realization what this industry is all about. See, Tejas is laughing there. So he has made the realization how difficult it is to handle things at the back end. But that's where a perfect manager also is being under the making. They come up with the best of their ability, and I think someone who has handled multiple events, I think in a way is capable of handling many of the corporate responsibilities into multiple industries. That's the beauty of this program.
Great. Yeah. I think what you were really saying is that while it's important to understand the front end, but there's it's almost like an iceberg. 75% of the work actually happens at the back end. And that might not be as glamorous. It may not be as lucrative and rewarding. And it's not all about getting praise from clients. There's a huge amount of work that happens at the back end. Deepesh, you want to share some of your insights here? You're on mute, Deepesh.
Yeah. So I would certainly say that event management is a serious business, although it looks so glamorous from outside, but it's a serious business. I was just reading one of the article. It is considered among the top 5 stressed work. In USA, this was been considered as a top among the top 5, stressed work. So after military personnel, firefighter, airlines pilot, and police officer, this is the 5th stressed job. So what we look forward, or rather students look forward for, is an innovator. If you are an innovator and if you have a skill set of ideation, then this is the right industry. Although it requires lots of skill set like other businesses. But more important that the passion for innovation and ideation and your visualization skills. So if you is the combination of this, then I mean, I mean, no one will get a ready-made platform. But if you can start a journey with these three parameters, then there is a no limit in this particular industry. One more alarming thing is, as I said, it's a serious business. It's not a fun. It's not a glamour. You know, there are certain couple of instances which I would like to share. It's more of a crisis management.
Mhm.
See, in movie, what happens is you always get an opportunity for retake, or even after retake, you get a last opportunity at the time of editing in studio. But in event, you won't get an opportunity for retake or editing. So everything is happening live. So a mistake, for an example, I mean, recently I was, just going through one of the biggest goof up, which has happened in the Academy Award, where the winner's name, for the best picture was announced wrongly by the MC or the master of ceremony and that was at this scale of an event. So I go back to the basics. Event management is, according to me, it's an abbreviation of eventualities. So one of the biggest management institute called IIM Ahmedabad, the annual day event, the title of annual day event is chaos, because they believe event is always a chaos.
Yeah,
So,
interesting.
So initially, nobody was able to understand and notice that, but then eventually I realized that okay, chaos is the right name. There is event is always a chaos, irrespective of whatever the time you have for planning. But when it comes to implementation, you are dependent on so many external agencies, and you get hardly few hours for implementation, irrespective of whatever the size of project is.
Absolutely.
So before and after is the important thing, as far as the event is concerned, how you amplify the event, how to promote the event, and how you leverage the event. And one of the master blaster of this is our Honorable Prime Minister, I can say, because I'm fortunate enough that I come from the state where he was the Chief Minister, and I had an opportunity to manage almost 35 events as the Chief Minister and Prime Minister. So, I mean, the small event, a small concept, he make larger than a life. For an example, Vibrant Gujarat Summit. So today we see all across Gujarat, various states, all across India, various states are, organizing financial summit. But he was so visionary that he made it so large in 2001, almost 2002 rather, almost 18 years back, when, all over the world was coming to Gujarat, and, Gujarat has seen significant impact of it. So event is a tool which was been extensively used by, the Honorable Prime Minister to promote or to communicate his message to the larger audience. And events, what happens is it gives the impact so long lasting. So for an example, if you have attended the concert for 10 years back, you will still remember it today. And you can easily connect it because you are bombarded with lots of information every second, every minute, tons of information goes to your brain. But event is something which will have long lasting memories.
Correct. And it's important to, I think, map each of those experiences that people who attend events are likely to have and manage each of those experiences, right? From the way it's promoted to entry to the venue and F&B,
exactly.
and all of those various. When you were talking about chaos, Dipesh, I just recollected, for 10 years, I was based in the Middle East in Abu Dhabi, and the firm that I worked with, Asda, I used to handle the account for Emaar, the PR account for Emaar, which was the firm that company that built the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest tower. And I remember at that time, this was, I think, 2008 or so, the inauguration of the event, inauguration of the tower was supposed to take place, tallest tower in the world. The attention of the world's media was there. There were only a handful of people who knew that the original name of the tower was Burj Dubai. It was meant to be, it was not Burj Khalifa. It was meant to be Burj Dubai, right from the time the project was announced to when it was built and when it was put together, the inaugural was put together, it was always Burj Dubai. But then the ruler of Dubai decided that as a tribute to the president of the UAE, Sheikh Khalifa, he would rename the tower Burj Khalifa. And the night of the inauguration, the morning of the inauguration was supposed to happen. So a few hours before, they changed the name to Burj Khalifa. and it meant,
Oh.
you can just imagine the kind of graphics that
Oh.
were there. There was still collateral that said Burj Dubai, and then the projection on the tower, everything had to be redone, right? But that's just
Absolutely.
gives people a sense of what you've got to think on your feet, and
So challenging. Yeah.
yeah.
For the agency
So,
who would be managing, I can understand
yeah,
what kind of a nightmare it will
I'm
they
sure
will
it was a
have.
nightmare. Yeah. Probably we'll talk a little bit about some of the skills that are very, very crucial to a PR and event professional. Mute. You're on mute. You want to unmute yourself, Chaudhary?
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, go ahead.
So from your example, I can remember one thing. Before beginning, I should share this experience with all of you. So that time you are a consultant, so you are working for them. So it was on your part, you are a different end. So you have to that time you had to manage when you change the name just before the starting of the starting beginning program or the welcome program of that event. But I can remember when I with Indian Metals, that time I got an email from my mines department for a publication of a notification in newspaper. So I got the material, or notification material. So when I was just about to close my office that day, I saw the vice president of mines. He came into my chamber and told me that, Pranav, so I release it to media tomorrow. And he said it and left my department. And tomorrow morning when I reached the office, so I got a call from his department that please send us the clippings, hard copy and both and the soft copies, both we need of that notification publication. So I said, what publication? He said, already yesterday vice president told to you that you need to publish it in newspaper. I don't know. He didn't say, tell me to publish it tomorrow. He said me to release it tomorrow. So today it will be released and it will be published. Releasing and publishing are two different things. So sometimes ignorance and peer activities, peer practice, even for a senior management person, it creates chaos. What he exactly said. That time I was insider, I was a company man, so he can't say anything because technicalities, PR technicalities, every person, all the senior persons in the company, all the departments should know technicalities and the intricacies of PR. And when he told me to isko release kar do, so it means it will be released to newspapers.
Correct.
Then it will be published. Because newspaper need at least a half day to it get published in newspapers. So thanks God, that time that publication was statutory publication, statutory notification, and we have time for 1 week. Within 1 week, that needs to be published in a newspaper. So we had time and we managed it. Next day it was published in newspaper. But just think of it, if since it was a statutory notification, if it was not published in newspaper, so my company had to give penalty. And also mines mines approval, operational approval or renewal of mining activities may have been collapsed. The government may reject, or government may stop the mining activities. Company may get crores of loss. So
the implications are
like,
quite severe.
The result could be quite severe. So I think peer activities, everybody should know, and everybody should give importance peer activities. And it's not as I already told, it's not a supplementary activity for a company, for any organization. It's like a complementary activities. Without peer, no organization can stand.
Yeah, sure.
It creates a company what it is.
Correct.
Tata, Birla, whatever company we are looking into, we are now, the brand has been created it only for the peer activity, effective peer activities and peer practices.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we've got a fair amount of questions coming in. So before we move on to the questions, what I wanted to ask is one last area I wanted to focus on is Tejas. I want to bring you in here. COVID is a reality that we're all living with. What are your peers within the within the industry saying about their own job prospects? Are they afraid of what is going to happen? Are they, is it a neutral scenario? They are just waiting and watching. And personally for you, how do you think it'll impact you? And then I want to bring in Deepesh, Vipul, and Chaudhary as well. Let's talk a little bit about the reality of what COVID really means to freshers who are going to enter the industry. What would they need to change? What would they need to gear up for? So why don't we start with you, Tejas?
So like from the beginning, when I started with this course, first thing that was not there was awareness regarding how PR or event managers as a job profile, and especially in this scenario, when I talk with my seniors or with my batchmates, we just graduated.
Mhm.
So in reality, we are all having a tough time.
Okay.
Because especially when it comes to freshers, already the prominent ones who have been working in companies, they are facing a
Yeah.
tough time in the aspects of salary cut or bonus
Right.
cut and that way. And in Bangalore,
Yeah.
I've heard from few of my seniors, like there have been a massive amount of people who have been fired due to the present scenario. Like it's nothing of their fault, but it's just that the world and the business world is collapsing, or I wouldn't say collapsing, but I would say at the present scenario, it's getting affected, so that they are cutting down on jobs. But
Sure.
and even when I just graduated, and I'm currently working for a startup.
Mhm.
So even in last 2 months, we faced a huge crisis, as all our clients focused on Bangalore, they started retracting. So
Mhm.
because they're like, a business is not happening, then why would we need promotion?
Sure.
But
Got it.
at the same time, we are seeing a very good shift. And even though digitalization was there, a digital way of happening for events, or a digital mode of even though it was very prominent in public relations, digital events were very less. Even the right platform, or even the right platform that we all are communicated with, YCC
Mhm.
2020, that's a very good example for how the field, or how event management as a whole is undergoing transformation. And the people watching
Got it.
this is an example. It can substantiate the fact that, irrespective of the fact, online or offline, events can do happen, even under a lockdown, or even with
Got
people
it.
connected
Sure.
to the digital
Yeah.
platform, events can happen.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. Sure. Thanks. So want to bring in the rest of the panel here. What is the reality on the ground looking like? Clearly, businesses have been impacted. What should young professionals do to gear themselves up for the new reality? Vipul, why don't we start with you?
We are talking about an industry which is events, and I think every human being loves celebrations and participating into events, be it individual or be it corporate. Purposes are different, but they do participate in some sort of an event. And hence, I'm very bullish
Right.
that whatever we are going through right now is just momentary and temporary. Entire human race is facing certain impact, and since 750 crore living beings on earth are facing this, I'm sure that all intellectuals will definitely come together, and we are going to defeat this. I feel that the stronger the ball falls on the surface, the bounce back will also would be equally strong. uh, I feel that this impact has made us realize that the practices are to be looked at again. The practices where what we are using today has to be re-looked at, has to be, nurtured, has to be changed for a better tomorrow. And I think in the past few months,
Yeah.
initial days, we were worried about how things are, and we were clueless. We didn't had any awareness about the harm that this COVID would do. but then gradually we have realized the quantum of impact of it, and kind of we have started gearing up to work with it, along with it. And there are a lot of
Yeah.
alternate practices that are already being seen. We have seen all the online format of different events coming in, be it weddings, be it celebrations, anniversaries, get-togethers, exhibitions, be it sports events, be it award functions. So we had seen entire gamut of events coming in absolutely a new avatar. So I think this industry has always been very dynamic and evolving, and the event managers who are being handling this industries are kind of proficient in handling change. So
Yeah.
this is one more change that is impacting us and making us bring in new practices. And I think event managers are good at that. And I'm very bullish that things have already begun reviving, and in a short while, I think we are going to see absolutely a new format of events.
Great. Yeah. Thank you. Dipesh?
According to me, it is, as I discussed earlier also, this is a kind of product life cycle. This is more of a correction phase, I can say. See, even if you see, this is not the first time such kind of an impact has happened. If you go to the back phases, there are certain instances where such phase continued for a period of 5 to 6 years. Let's say if you're talking about World War II. So all the economy, I mean, forget about the event, but entire economy or all other businesses were down for 5 years, 6 years across multiple countries. So this kind of a phase is always used to come. As far as the event is concerned, what I personally feel, the student, what they should invest at this point of time is to enhance their skill set. Because
Great
this
point.
is the kind of time, wherein they can enhance their skill set by multifold. So this should be utilized in a proper way. And the things when they start getting normal. For an example, I assume that it would happen, from May 2021. Someone will feel that from January 2021. But whenever the things start getting into normal, they should take the maximum advantage of it. Yes, but yes, for sure, right now it has got extremely high impact in terms of all the means. For an example, I know lots of companies, they have completely shut down their businesses. As far as the event industry is concerned, there are certain organizations, they have reduced their staff by 60%, 70%. The salary has been cut down. But yes, we have to face everything because we are not alone. Entire world is there, so we have to give ourselves a support that this is happening across the world. So we have to keep our
Great.
motive high. We have to invest more into enhancing our skill set. That's what I
Got
feel
it.
at this point
Yeah.
of time.
Great point. Chaudhary, you want to just talk a little bit about today's reality for PR and events professionals?
See, as far so far as PR practice, PR activities concerned, my experience is you see all the challenges come into our life with the scope of opportunity to find out new ways to innovate, to overcome all these challenges. So, as others, the pandemic is a challenge to all, in all over the world, for all the companies and professions. But layoffs, terminations, salary cut-offs. But here, I think PR practice, PR activities is privileged and they have advantage. Here we have already we are in the area in the world of digital world we are living through. So already customary PR practice has been shifted to digital PR practice.
Yeah.
So the major part of PR practice, the media relations management, advertisement, all these activities, you see they have got much more affected because already we are in a digital platform. So now we are talking, on Zoom or whatever platform here. So nobody can stop this. Okay.
Correct.
So here social media platforms are there. So no media, even print media, electronic media, this pandemic was unable to affect this print media and electronic media public to reach public, to reach audience, to reach viewers. So here media, so as far as media relations and advertisement, all these concern part of PR is concerned. you can't see any impact or much more that much impact on these activities.
Sure.
Already we are already exploring new ways of digital PR. So here digital PR is playing a very significant role. In this way, I think PR is a very privileged in this pandemic situation.
Sure.
PR practice is privileged because we have a digital platform, a digital way of communication.
Correct.
So
leveraging digital is absolutely important.
Electronic media are running, print media are running, and all the social platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, all those digital media platforms are running, and we have many more scope. And also, this is the time what Mr. said and Solanki said. It is a time that we have to explore new ways to work with challenges. It's a challenge to
Sure. Thank you for that input. I've got a few questions here that are coming in, and let's do this quickly because there are quite a few questions, right? Event management as a course, how much practical learning is built into it, and what are some of the leading courses and institutions? Vipul, you want to take that?
So, as everybody understands, yes, we know that this is very practical oriented program, and we cannot go away with the implementation side of it, the application side of it. But we should not forget that the application side of it will make sense only when the foundation is strong, when your theoretically your concepts and the know-how is strong. I think then only the application practices will make sense. So in the percentage term, it will be difficult to put up a fix a percentage. It depends on individual to individual as well, and the space that he wants to enter into. But largely, like, it is equal. I think emphasis that should be laid. So in the current time, like if you see, like since we don't have any real practical opportunities, what we at the institution has done is we've made multiple groups of students. Around 50 plus groups are being made. And in the past couple of months, these groups have been organizing virtual events on different disciplines. And these are all real virtual events. Initially, we took it in-house and for within students, but now we have opened up to the real world where they are communicating and organizing virtual events for their close mates and now to the open population at large. And some of the groups have also started getting into a commercial mode as well. They have branded their corporate house. They've made logos, they've made taglines, designed well, presented well, packaged well, trying to sell it well. So I think these are the times where one should invest into looking at alternate possibilities, like how Mr. Dipesh also said. We need to work on research, and then we should try to experiment different possibilities. That's where we would definitely will be able to figure out certain solutions through this.
Yeah, sure. Great. I just want to also add a couple of inputs here. I think it's important to use the practicality of this time and the channels and the opportunities that are already there, like Chaudhary mentioned, right? Digital is a big thing, and that's the reality. And I think it's important for all of us to, everyone, regardless of whether you're a fresher or not, to immediately jump on that bandwagon. I've just pulled out on my Spotify playlist. Yesterday, I came across a very interesting podcast called The Sound of Colleagues. And I'd invite people who are logged in to sort of take this down and go there. It's Red Pipe Studios, and very interesting because it's one of the top playlists on Spotify. And what it is because there are so many people who are working from home, there are people who miss the sound of colleagues, right? So there are different tracks. For example, it talks noisy colleague having breakfast, right? And it's got quiet office with barking dog. So some amazing bits of content, because whether it's events or PR or any of the other channels, ultimately what it springs from is content. And I think this is an excellent opportunity for people to brainstorm different modes of content. The other day I was listening on a BBC podcast about a horror movie director in the UK who is stuck at home, right? He has no way to operate in this environment. And instead of just sitting on his backside, he was actually doing a Zoom call like this with a few colleagues of his. And what he decided to do was scare them, prank them. And he embedded a clip from a Spanish horror movie onto the Zoom call, right? And he kind of scared all of them, and looking at their reaction, that sparked an idea. And he's actually shot a complete horror movie, like a full-length horror movie, using just the imagery of a Zoom screen. That's it, right? So I think it's pushing, and it's very well received. So it's pushing people to explore areas that would not have been explored. And I think that's what industry professionals, both new and existing professionals, need to do. I think there's no dearth of creative options that are there, and I think we need to really leverage those sort of options.
And I think just adding
Yeah,
one point here,
I've got another.
yeah, and the young the
Go ahead.
youth, the potential of the youth in this is going to be helpful
Yeah.
because they are quite tech savvy, they are quite tech friendly, and
Absolutely.
they are very innocently innovative as well. So I
Yes.
feel that this youth has a lot of responsibilities to shoulder in right now. To come up with a lot of
Mm.
such ideas, when I see our kids brainstorming and coming up with ideas, I think those are so fresh. That's what keep us motivating in being in this sector and being with students. I think youth has a huge responsibility, and they are equipped and capable of doing it.
Yeah, and I think Deepesh's point about using this time to enhance skills, right? Both their fundamentals, like you mentioned, Vipul, which are very important. I mean, you can't go out to the field as a field reporter or a news reporter unless you understand the fundamentals, which is what Chaudhary also mentioned. But also looking at completely new areas. I mean, whether it's courses on artificial intelligence or specific areas that interest you. For example, Tejas, if if biology interests you, you should use this time to understand a bit more, because there are client organizations that work in that domain, and having deep understanding of a sector will really help you to conceptualize, stage, manage, and be at the top of your game when it comes to whether it's PR and events and things like that. So I think it's very important.
So
Anything that you guys want
on
to?
addition to that, I would
Yeah.
on addition to that, I would like to make a point, because when the same way when I had conversations with my seniors, so I feel public relations as a whole is generalized. When you
Yeah.
just said when you go into certain domains of it, because one of my friend, he got placed as in a public relations company, and they were doing PR for an artificial intelligence company. So in
Yeah.
order to work in there, in order to do public relations for them, you should know about artificial intelligence and how the whole thing works.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great
So
point.
so I feel rather than generalizing it, like they should bring it, they should break it down into segments, and it should be taught to the youth that not just how to be a PR. If you're doing PR for something particular, you should have a learning about that particular domain too. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the point.
Yeah, and I think it's this opportunity of connecting digitally provides huge leverage when it comes to bringing talent onto the same platform. We probably would not have had this opportunity to connect and share and learn from each other if not for this environment. So I think the digital sources of information, knowledge, and exchange have is a great opportunity as well.